Boy, that's loud. News Talk 1150 WGBR. Time is 10:09 this morning on our Thursday morning, one day away from the weekend. Kari and Jeff, Wayne County Live and Local. Does not get any more local than this.
Yes, definitely. When you are talking about 125 years, family business, right here in Goldsboro, you can't get any local than this. So we want to welcome into our studios Mac Sullivan from Pate Dawson.
Good morning, Mac.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am doing great, thank you.
Good. Yeah, a lot of history that goes along with this as far as, God, what was 125 years?
Yeah. 4 generations and working on Generation 5 right now.
We're getting them started
Actually,
early.
Generation 5 is working on Generation 6 is the way I should be saying it. Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, I guess, to start things off. Give us a little background. And
About the company, you mean?
about the company or yourself, even.
Well, I'd prefer to talk about the company.
That's
How about
fine.
That
That will work fine.
4th generation family-owned business right here in Goldsboro. Started in 1885. Started out as a grocery store on Center Street in Goldsboro way back in 1885. And the first owner was J.H. Pate. And he eventually sold to the second generation, which was 3 Pate brothers and a brother-in-law, Bill Dawson. So that's where the name Pate Dawson came from. And it's interesting, those 4 acquired the business from their father, and the selling price was that they had to take care of their father and mother for the rest of their lives. What a wonderful selling price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a different way of looking at things, and you think about it and say, yeah, that's a great way to do things, to move things from one generation to another. And as those 3 sons and son-in-law took over the business, it really became more of a wholesale business. It had morphed from a grocery store into supplying other grocery stores in the area, and then grew into more of a fresh fruit and produce distributor to grocery stores. And that's what many people who've been in the community or in the county for a long time still remember Pate Dawson Produce Company. But as we look at it today, we're really a broad-line food service distributor, so you can think in your minds, we serve literally or sell literally everything you would find in a restaurant. So our primary customers today are not retail grocery stores, and produce only makes up about 5% of our total sales. Our customer base today are restaurants, independent restaurants, and chain restaurants, and we literally sell them everything from their produce to their meat to their canned goods, frozen goods, desserts, the chemicals that they use to clean the restaurant, everything.
Wow.
And, we serve large chains and we serve independent restaurants. So there's been tremendous changes in the company over the generations. There's been changes in the products completely, where it was once completely produce, now 5% of the products are produce. And the customer base years ago used to be independent grocery stores. Now the customer base are restaurants. So tremendous change over all those generations.
When you hear that, it's kind of what a neat chain. I mean, you start out that way and you end up with this huge conglomerate,
And you were talking about being a wholesaler to independent restaurants and businesses. And in fact, you go far beyond Wayne County when it comes to customers, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Our largest customer is Bojangles, which is kind of an iconic restaurant chain in North Carolina, but we serve them all throughout the Southeast. So we go literally from Maryland to Orlando over to Alabama and serve them throughout the entire Southeast.
Wow.
Now, right before we went on the air, you did a little bit of a research when it came to generations and family businesses. Go ahead and repeat it to our listeners, because it's really interesting what you said.
I'll be glad to. And actually, the research was done by one of my sons. And what he found is that in family-owned businesses, only 12% of those businesses make it to the second generation. Just 3% of family-owned businesses make it to the third generation. And here we are. I represent the 4th generation in the company, and the 5th generation is at work in the company now.
So what would you attribute to the success of that?
A couple of things, and it's interesting because in the paper my son wrote, that was the question he was asking himself is why is the company still successful? And he came away with 2 answers, and I'll try to paraphrase them. First off, he said the company has always been focused on the people that work for the company. In other words, he said, as he was asking these questions of my uncle, it's like my uncle was almost surprised to think about, what had happened over that period of time, because the focus had always just been on serving others. And so the focus isn't internal, it's always external, your customers and your associates that you work with. And then the second thing is the ability to change. Because your reaction, as I said, our customer base used to be this, our product mix used to be this, and you look today and it's completely different.
Right.
So a tremendous ability to change based upon what's happening in the economy, based upon the changes that take place in our culture. Because, 100 years ago, we didn't even have restaurants.
Exactly.
and so what a tremendous change has taken place. And so the company and the generations have been able to change and adapt.
And reading the information that we have, I saw here a lot of information on technology.
Absolutely.
You guys are it says staying ahead with technology, and apparently that's helping you as well.
Well, and that's some of the changes that have been put in place really in the last 15 or 20 years that I've been involved with the company. Although I say that as I went back and researched back in the mid-'30s, when the company built a distribution center on George Street, South George Street, they were the first company anywhere in this area that had refrigeration. That was an unknown thing at that time, and so they brought in refrigeration for the produce. So today, our technology is different than that, because refrigeration has been around a long time. But it's things like not many food service distributors scan on delivery, for example. We scan literally barcodes for every single case that goes into a customer's restaurant. And what that allows us to do is assure as close as possible to perfect deliveries, which is a big thing. It means you're delivering tremendous service to your customers. And so our technology is focused on two things. It's focused on exceptionally high service level to our customers and exceptionally low error rates. And that combination is what allows us to flourish and thrive, even when the economic conditions are like we find them today.
So about how many people do you employ at Pate Dawson?
218 is the last I saw.
218.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's grown from the grocery store.
Yeah, quite a bit.
I would say so.
Yep.
And right now you're located where?
At the industrial park here in Wayne County. So Commerce Court is the address, 402 Commerce Court.